Hi and welcome to this new video, and in this video I'm carrying on the theme of going a bit next level, and we're going to expand upon backwards flying and look at how we would do a backwards funnel with a mini quad. So this is a maneuver that you would typically be seen flown with a 3D helicopter, but actually it's a maneuver that a mini quad can pull off just as well as a 3D helicopter, and it looks pretty cool. However, in order to do this maneuver you need to be able to fly backwards in the first place. You can do these flying forwards as well, which would be a nose down funnel, but I'm going to show you the more difficult version. As we just did backwards flying, there is a natural progression from backwards flying into doing a backwards funnel. So I'm going to just show you how you go from backwards flying into a backwards funnel. So the first thing I'm going to do is just show you what this maneuver actually looks like. So the thing we'll be used to seeing if we've been flying backwards would be, this is our backwards circuit. So we'll be used to seeing this from the previous video. This is just flying the quad around backwards. Now the way we transition this into a funnel is that we start to fly the quad sideways. So now you can see the quad is flying sideways, it's no longer flying backwards, and then we use a bit more power to power this up, and then we can use some more tilt, and the next thing you know we're flying a backwards funnel. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Let's see how we get into this. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn on my sticks. Now I didn't put on my sticks before because I wanted you to concentrate on what the maneuver looks like, not what my sticks are doing. So if we get into this again, what I'm going to show you when we get up there is we'll be doing a backwards anti-clockwise circuit. So our sticks are going to be coming apart in order to do the backwards anti-clockwise circuit, and then once we've got into a nice reasonably fast backwards anti-clockwise circuit, we're then going to use the yaw just to rotate our quad. In fact, let's just get the quad up in the air a little bit and use the W key to lock it in place so I can show this. So we're going to be flying backwards. So let's say, you know, we kind of got a bit of tilt on and we're in our backwards circuit like this. So our quad is flying in this direction backwards, and we're kind of doing a turn around. You know, we're going to do an anti-clockwise circuit effectively. Now to turn this into a funnel, you're going to add a little bit of yaw like this to turn the props, the front props, so they're just pointing up out of the funnel, and then the turn that you're making in order to fly around the funnel is going to be done with right roll effectively. So you're going to go from a situation where you're flying a circuit where you're kind of in this orientation and you're pulling back in order to fly faster and pushing forward in order to fly slower, to a situation like this where the props are up. And in this situation we have to put on more power, and we're going to use centrifugal force now to hold the model in the turn. Now one of the important things, if I just bring this around like this so we can look at the model from the point of view of it being in that orientation like that. So if you imagine we're now flying the funnel and we're just looking at this model from the side, if you pull back on the stick, what happens is the the model sinks because less lift is going into holding the model up. So you've put the power on to hold you into the turn because it's a centrifugal force based turn. The thing that's holding you up now is the fact that you're going through a tighter turn under more power with more speed. Now if you pull back on the stick, what you're effectively doing is tilting the quad up more, and that will cause the quad to drop towards the ground. And if you flatten out in the centrifugal maneuver, that's going to bring more of your thrust to bear towards the ground, and that's going to cause the quad to climb in the maneuver. So there's a whole load of stuff going on in this maneuver, but the key to it is that you're going to be holding in. Let's just unlock this quad so it falls to the floor and doesn't try and fly off. You're going to be holding in right stick in order to fly the quad around the funnel. You're going to be putting in a fair bit of power in order to give it the power to fly around the centrifugal funnel, and you're going to be using forwards and backwards to control the height. Forwards to gain height, backwards to drop in height. So quite complicated. Sorry I can't make this easier, but this is a complicated maneuver to fly. But as per the last video where I talked about backwards flying, if you do backwards flying and then after that you pull the backwards funnel off, then you're going to be elevated to God status at your field in terms of line of sight flying with a mini quad. Okay, so let's get into this again. So the start of the maneuver is just getting your quad into that backward circuit. So just get it flying around and just get really nicely settled in. So at the moment this is pretty untidy, so I'm just going to try and sort this out to get it a little bit more tidy. You really want to just settle into this maneuver so that you feel that you're comfortable, you're calm. You don't want to be fighting the quad, you just want to feel like this is kind of drifting around the maneuver and all is happy and fine with the world. You don't want to be fighting the quad at all before you start thinking about turning this into the funnel. So then we just increase our speed a little bit and turn those props up. So you see I've turned those props up, and now I'm still kind of flying like it's a circuit, but I'm hardly touching my sticks. You can see my sticks are actually frozen in position, not moving them at all at the moment, and the quad is pretty much flying a really flat version of the funnel without me doing anything at all. Now I need to speed this up to turn it into a proper funnel, and I've actually drifted towards myself a bit. So it's just to show you how easy it is that once you get into the maneuver you can kind of lock on the sticks and it will just keep doing it. It's one of those maneuvers where if you get the sticks in the right place you can just leave them there and it will just keep doing it. So let's get into it again. So nice, easy backward circuit, turn those props up and then lock into a position. And now I'm just pulling back on the stick a little bit just to maintain, because I climbed a little bit. See, I'm coming down now and then I tip the quad forward and it will climb again. So you want to use the forward and backwards on the pitch stick to control the height of the quad. You flatten it out to gain height and you tip it back to lose height. So I just tipped it back, it's losing, tip it forward and it will gain. Tip it back and it will lose height. Let's tip it back a bit more. There you go, you see it losing height, tip it forward and it will gain height. And then you just want to put more power in, because it's power that controls this maneuver. So the faster you get it going, so now I'm trying to get some real power into this maneuver. Okay, and we've fallen out of that manoeuvre. Got a bit too close to myself, got a little bit untidy, so I decided to abort out of the manoeuvre. So let's get back into it again. So let's get this backward circuit going again. And I don't like that that hoop is in the way there, so let's just move this funnel over here so I'm not getting that hoop in my view getting in the way. So into the backward circuit once again. Tip the props up so they're towards the top, so we're now flying sideways, and then let's start to tighten this up. So I'm putting in more right roll to tighten this up, and then as I tighten it up I'm having to add power to keep it in that manoeuvre. Tip it back to drop it down a little bit. And this is the kind of manoeuvre where you can really tighten it up. Or then loosen it up and come back out into a bigger manoeuvre. You can see that I'm really not doing that much on the sticks to control this manoeuvre. Once it's locked into it, it's really only height control that you have to think about, which is either tipping the quad back or pushing it forwards. And it's just watching that height and just making sure that little tiny movements are all that's required to control the height of the quad. Okay, so that is the backwards funnel. And as you can see, it's quite a pretty manoeuvre, it looks quite nice, it looks quite impressive when you pull it off, and there's not really much more to say about it. It's one of those ones where it's a manoeuvre that it kind of, when you get the quad positioning right, it just locks in, and then you can just fly the manoeuvre and just watch it go on without having to do very much on the sticks at all. But as I say, this is next level flying. It's very likely you're going to find it very difficult to do. I would master backwards circuits first, because it's a very natural progression to go into a backwards funnel from a backwards circuit. Okay, that's it, and I'll see you on the next video.